This is Stephen. He would love to run and play with his friends, but he cannot because he breathes through his mouth. This causes him to cough and wheeze and to become breathless. It also makes him tired and slows him down. One day, he sees a sign for the summer's sports day. He makes a wish to be able to play in the games. His wish is, "I wish I could run a race this summer." Later on that night, just before Stephen falls asleep, Argo the wizard appears. He whispers into Stephen's ear, "If you want your wish to come true, you must play the ABC game." And the ABC game is always breathe correctly. This is very helpful for your sports, your growing face, your teeth, and your brains. The next morning, Stephen awakes and thinks it was all just a dream, but Argo the wizard appears again, and this time Stephen is awake. He reminds Stephen that he did not play the ABC game while he was sleeping. Stephen does not know how to breathe correctly, so the wizard explains it to him like this. The ABC game. Part 1 is breathe through your nose both day and night with your tongue on the spot. Part 2 is practice an exercise called steps each day. Part 3 is always breathe gently and calmly like a little mouse. Part 1 of the ABC game is to breathe through your nose all the time. Stephen tried to breathe through his nose all that day, but it kept getting blocked, and that made it difficult. Then Argo the wizard appears. He whispers into Stephen's ear the secret of how to unblock his nose. You can try this too. Here's how. Sit down. Take a small breath in through your nose. This breath should make no noise. Breathe out through your nose. Then hold your nose with your fingers so that the air cannot come in or go out. Gently nod your head up and down. Do this for as long as you can. When you need to breathe in, then breathe in through your nose only, and try not to let the air sneak in through your mouth. Calm your breathing as quickly as possible. Wait about a half a minute and practice this again. Your nose will be unblocked by the third attempt. If it is not, practice this again until your nose is unblocked. If your nose gets blocked again, practice the exercise again. Argo tells Stephen that it is very important to breathe through the nose. Your nose, he says, stops dirty air from coming in and nibbling at the inside of your body. He also explains that the nose warms and cleans the air for us. We all know that. We use our eyes for seeing, we use our ears for listening, we use our mouth for talking, eating, and drinking, while we use our nose for smelling and breathing. So breathe only through your nose because that is why we all have noses. Argo tells Stephen, "Stephen, I'm going to let you know of another secret. It is from a famous dentist called Dr. Mew. If you breathe through your mouth, your face will grow long and narrow and your teeth will be crooked. Look at the boy who kept his mouth open as a child." Stephen, if you breathe through your nose and your tongue rests in the roof of your mouth, you will grow the perfect face and have straight teeth. To place your tongue on the correct spot, make the N sound. Your tongue will rest behind the top front teeth. Keep the tip of your tongue there. Now gently move your tongue up into the roof of your mouth. Great, this is the spot. Try to keep your tongue on the spot at all times. Always ask yourself these questions. Is my mouth closed? Is my tongue on the spot? Each day, if Stephen has his mouth open, then Argo appears and whispers ABC into his ear. During physical exercise, ABC. During walking, ABC. At school, ABC. Watching TV, ABC. Doing homework, ABC. Playing outdoors, ABC. While asleep, ABC. After a few days, Argo the wizard is very happy because Stephen does not breathe through his mouth at all. Stephen also keeps his tongue on the spot. The wizard decides to teach Stephen part 2 of ABC, a game called steps. To play one set of steps, take a small breath in through your nose. Breathe a small breath out through your nose. Hold your nose so that air does not enter or escape. Walk as many steps as you can while holding your breath. When you really need to breathe in, let go of your nose and breathe in through your nose. Calm your breathing as quickly as possible. Stephen does 2 lines of steps each day. Each line contains 6 sets of steps. After doing 1 set of steps, he rests for about 1 minute. He then does the next set of steps and rests for 1 minute until he has completed all 6. Each time he does the steps, he tries to get a higher number than the one before. Sometimes he can, sometimes he cannot. Each day, Argo the Wizard appears to Stephen and whispers ABC. Hearing this, Stephen repeats his steps exercises. Every time Stephen forgets to keep his mouth closed or his tongue on the spot, Argo appears to Stephen and says, "Remember to ABC." Stephen is able to do more and more steps each week. The wise wizard feels that his student is making very good progress. Stephen is now ready to hear part 3 of the ABC game. Here it is. Big breathing causes mouth to be open, blocked nose, coughing, wheezing, and breathlessness. Stephen knows he is big breathing anytime he can hear his breathing while sitting down or while asleep. Stephen also knows he is big breathing if his mouth is open. Argo blows a big amount of air into Stephen's hand. He tells Stephen that this is big breathing. A dinosaur breathes the same way, he says. Argo then blows a tiny amount of air into Stephen's hand so that Stephen can feel very little air. He tells Stephen that this is correct breathing, and it's just like the breathing of a little mouse. Argo asks Stephen to breathe like a little mouse, breathing quietly all the time. Argo tells Stephen the secret of how to breathe like a little mouse. Stephen is to breathe like a little mouse anytime he can hear himself breathe. To do this, place your finger under your nose. Try to feel the warm air on your finger. Now breathe very little so that you cannot feel the amount of warm air on your finger. Stephen pretends that he is a little white mouse. He tries to breathe very quietly and gently. There is no sound at all from Stephen's breathing. Argo the Wizard has one final word of wisdom for Stephen. "Stephen," he says, "if you ever see pollution or dirty air, try not to let it into your body. The secret is breathe in, breathe out, hold your breath and walk away from the dirty air." Argo wants to tell a secret to every boy and girl. He has written this especially for you. He says, ABC each day. Keep your mouth closed all the time during the day and night. Place your tongue on the spot. Practice 2 lines of steps each day. Anytime you can hear your own breathing, breathe like a little mouse. This is the ABC. The summer sports day comes and Stephen signs up for the race. The other children laugh and make fun of Stephen because they all think he cannot run. Stephen is afraid that he will be too slow, so he runs off. But Argo the Wizard appears and whispers ABC to Stephen. He tells Stephen to take part in the race. He says, "Stephen, you can be very fast if you can do more than 80 steps." The higher the number of steps, the better. Stephen has practiced 2 rows of steps every day. After a couple of months, Stephen can now walk 80 steps each time. He is now ready to race. Stephen runs the race. He is halfway to the finish line. All the other boys and girls are running as fast as they can. Stephen wins the race. He is faster than all the other boys and girls. Everybody cheers with delight. Argo the Wizard is so happy. Stephen is great at running. "How did he do it?" they ask. Stephen tells them, "I did it because of ABC game. Always breathe correctly. Breathe through your nose all the time. Place your tongue on the spot. Practice steps twice per day. The goal is to reach 80 steps. Anytime you can hear yourself breathing, Breathe quietly and gently, just like a little mouse. Stephen tells them that ABC stops coughing and wheezing, stops breathlessness, helps sports, helps grow the perfect face, helps teeth and gums because the mouth is closed. Stephen can now play, run, jog, skip, swim, and do anything that he wants to, thanks to the ABC.